What's up, everybody? This is Big Herc with Fresh Out, bringing you another interview. And I would like to introduce you to my homeboy, Big Tony Leath, a good friend of mine who has worked in the Department of Corrections for over 30 years. Tony, so what correctional facilities have you worked at?
Right now, well, I'm retired now, officially, but I've worked in several state California correctional facilities.
What are some of the craziest things you experienced while working as a prison guard?
Wow, we can go on and on with that one, bro.
Give us to the top.
Well, the latest one was they found an inmate in the garbage can, basically almost sliced in half. His stomach, his guts cut out. There's still ongoing investigation going on as we speak. That's probably the worst murder type of thing that I've experienced or I've even heard about in the Department of Corrections.
So they found that this guy was actually cut in half, severed?
He basically flipped over backwards. They found him in a garbage can, a little dumpster that we have in each building, and wrapped around several pieces of material in a plastic bag.
Wow.
And his insides were allegedly missing also.
Damn, that's crazy. That's deep, man. Anything else that comes to mind that kind of?
Well, a lot of things happen in prison. From obviously the dangerous stuff you guys hear about. A lot of times, there's a lot of humorous stuff that goes on. We have inmates in there, for instance, that are trying to go to school and arguing with teachers. One of the inmates particularly was arguing with the teacher all the time and thinking the teacher trying to tell him what to do. And I'm sitting right there listening, and he comes to me complaining. And so finally, I just looked at him and told him, "Hey, what's up, bro? You want to be a third grader for the rest of your life?" So every day he comes back in, I always call him my 33-year-old third grader. Here comes my 33-year-old third grader. To the point where he finally realized that he doesn't want to be that, and now he's going to school now.
That's good.
Handling his business.
That's great. I remember you were saying too, there was another incident with the guy with the deodorant.
Oh, yeah, that guy. There was a guy, I guess he was trying to, a lot of time inmates, they call it keystering, but he put items inside their, I call it their third pocket, which is, figure that out. And so in order to get stuff in there, he was trying to stretch his anal cavity out. So he stuck a deodorant stick up there. I guess it was the wrong kind, the big one. And it got stuck up his cavity to the point where he had to go out to the hospital. And they were at the point where they were going to basically try to cut his, cavity open to get it out. And somehow after he heard that bad news, he kind of gave a couple extra pushes with his sphincter muscles, and he got it out of there.
Oh, man. Have you ever had any personal confrontations with inmates?
Yeah, you get them from time to time. Pretty much, though, good verbal skills as far as the mess talking type of conversations where somebody's running their mouth. You have good verbal skills, you can pretty much downsize someone's attitude, and I've had a lot of things going with that.
Did your size play a factor?
A lot of people want to say that, and I think what it is the fact that I was in shape. Inmates respected that, and the fact that how I held myself, and how I communicated. I never came off as a big tough guy, that guy that thought I can, I'm gonna roll you because I'm bigger, or beat you up because I'm bigger. I came at pretty much with the level-headedness. A lot of times that worked. Most of the time it did work.
Have you seen a lot of repeat offenders go through the system?
Oh yeah, you see that time to time. The craziest one was when a guy left in the morning. He was back the next day, locked up already.
Wow.
One day.
Wow. What's the mentality of a lot of these guys that come back?
Well, before the 3 strikes, a lot of these guys were pretty much their mentality was, I'm gonna see how long I stay out there until I get caught. There was never nothing about I'm gonna stay out there and do better. For most of the guys was just if I can be out there for 6 months, I'm doing real good. And now with the 3 strikes thing, a lot of these guys are understanding now. They're a lot older too. We all aged up in there together, and they realize now they got to start doing the programs they have to do and get themselves ready to stay out there because now the state's not playing too much with these guys and they're striking them out now.
Do you think that prison rehabilitates inmates?
No, prison doesn't rehabilitate inmates. There are rehabilitation programs for inmates to take. So the inmate has to rehabilitate himself. They do offer programs, and inmates have ability to take advantage of these programs. It's up to them.
Did you ever form any friendships with inmates?
I wouldn't call it friends, but you do have a working relationship where you understand your role, understand their position and your position, and sometimes you got to let that be known. A lot of times it might run into a type of where somebody thinks that's a friendship. So sometimes you got to put them in check, remind them of, hey, it's not that kind of party.
Did being a prison guard make you look at life differently?
That's a good question. Yes and no. I mean that you pretty much have conversations with people or any stranger expecting some kind of outcome of a negative way. You might go into a restaurant and sit in the back or sit up against the wall so you can have your back covered at all times. Certain things you do that other people will pick up. You may not understand it yourself, but a lot of times my fiance will see it. People in my family will see it because they're not in the system of corrections. So they'll see the kind of changes that I might have made, which I don't see, of protection or maybe being a little guardish of myself and things.
What would you change about the prison system given the opportunity?
Well, my opinion. It's my opinion only. I think a lot of times when we incarcerate inmates, we incarcerate a lot of inmates who are ready to do the programs to go home with inmates who don't want to do the programs to go home. Meaning that there are inmates there that are willing to do their time and go home, or as opposed to inmates who want to remain with the inmate mentality. A lot of times when you mix those two together, you have a bad outcome for that inmate that wants to just go home. His mentality changes, his attitude changes. And so I think they should have a prison or a system where you keep inmates who want to be a program on one side and those that aren't in that program on another side. Make it a lot better. And one of the programs they did take away years ago was the weights in prison. I guess maybe I'm partial to that because I do lift weights. But I thought it was a wrong thing to do. Because from the point of view of what I'm saying is that a lot of inmates were doing that to take advantage of the time. It gave them something positive to do, and which kept them out of trouble. And as soon as they took the weights away, a person has no release, no outlet for the testosterone that's in their body. And so what happens? We have a lot of fights, a lot of melees, a lot of guys just going at it for stupid reasons, on and on and on and on and on and on and on.
What advice would you give to an inmate getting ready to be released after having done time?
Go to school. Get some type of education. Maybe not formal school, maybe a trade school. Find out what you like. A lot of these inmates have a lot of talent. I've seen dudes do things from drawing, put things together. I don't know how the heck he put that together. Tap into that. Take advantage of any free education out there, but go to school some type of way and take advantage of anybody who's trying to help you out.
Did you see a lot of guys change their lives going through the system?
Most of the time you see somebody change their life after being in the system for a long time, fighting and scratching and finally realizing that they got to go through certain changes to be able to go out there and go home, see their family.
Did you see a lot of guys change their lives going through the system?
Yeah, you see a lot of guys. One guy in particular, the bodybuilder, came in, real good dude, quiet. One day took off his shirt and just get a double bicep shot on me, and whoa! I said, man, bro, I've been around, man. I've seen a lot of guys out there. You got that professional size beef. You go out there and handle your business. 2 years later, see the brother on the Geiger commercial, Kali. Now he's got his YouTube thing, doing a good job, man. I'm really proud of that cat, man. He's doing a good job.
Is there anything else that you would like to share with the public, having worked inside the prison system?
Yeah, for over 30 years, it's not for everybody. You see a lot of things in there that you probably would never want to talk about. You see a lot of things in there that might mess up your mind. You gotta have an outlet. You also gotta realize that if the job's not for you, get out. There was an old saying my partner was telling me one year that this guy told him, we talked to a bunch of new people coming in, he said, this job's not for everybody. Once you realize it's not for you, before you get that money and all that stuff hooked up, get out and save our lives. Because you can hurt us. I'm Tony Leath, Big Leath, aka Superman. This is Fresh Out, Life After the Penitentiary.